This is Share the Vision, presented by the Resource Center, a discussion of the programs and services of the Resource Center and about issues related to individuals with disabilities. Today, Street Jam basketball returns. 19th year of street basketball for the community. A lot more from Vicki Bardo, the Street Jam Director, Development and Events Manager for Filling the Gap, otherwise known as the Queen of Street Jam, and Steve Watterson, Community Relations Director at the Resource Center, over the next half an hour on Share the Vision. Steve, thank you for welcoming me back here to Dunham Avenue.
Thanks for coming down, Dennis. We always appreciate having you here.
It is always a joy to be here, and particularly to come back, the three of us together, and recreate the excitement for Street Jam basketball for our radio listeners. No one does that better than Vicki Bardo.
Oh, absolutely right. She's been doing it. No one can do it better for 19 years. So this is good. No, I think we usually get together right around this time of year, start promoting the event and filling people in and gearing up the excitement level and encouraging people to want to come on down to downtown Jamestown that weekend and see what Street Jam and Street Basketball Festival is all about.
Vicki, you are earlier. You're in May this year. Bulletin, everybody. It's in May this year.
That's right. We have gone this weekend before, and it was very successful. This year we had some scheduling conflicts, so we decided to move our tournament to May 30th and 31st. And the feedback has been very positive. We are not butting against a lot of things that are going on in our community. There's the musical programs and there are sectionals and whatnot. So time will tell, but we're very excited about year number 19.
Now, let's kind of run the schedule for people. You're on the 30th and the 31st, so let's talk about what happens those days and get the important information out to people who might be interested in playing basketball in terms of the deadlines for application.
Okay, well, the first thing I want to mention is the player deadline is May 10th. So everybody needs to run to their computer and register their team really soon, which is only a few short days away. After you have registered your team, then we have to have you check in. And we have registration on Friday, May 29th from 4 to 7 indoors at the Ice Arena. And then again on Saturday morning starting at 7 a.m. until noon. And I want to just stress that fact that all players need to register before they get onto the court. And then at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, we have our opening ceremonies, and the games are played throughout the day. There's a lot going on, over the course of the weekend, a lot of excitement and great basketball and just a lot of good old-fashioned fun.
Let's target on the applications for a moment, just so that people maybe have never played Street Jam basketball, played your tournament before. What do they need to know? What do they need to do in order to register for the tournament? They need to have the team and its members?
That's correct.
How many?
There are 4 members on a team, and the person that signs up the team is typically the team captain. So any information that we need to filter to that team will be done through the team captain. Of course, you have to have a credit card. And also all of your information, which would be the players' names, their date of birth, and their height. Very, very crucial information in order to process your application and your entry form.
And you mentioned the website. Go to the website. What is the website that people can get this form from?
It's jamestownstreetjam.net. And if for any reason you can't navigate the site or have a question, my number is 716-661-1477, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Just for those people driving down the street or a horn honked when you said it, what's that website one more time?
jamestownstreetjam.net.
Is there still room in the tournament as we speak here just a few days before the deadline?
There is. The brackets are filling up quickly, and just like anything else, people tend to wait until the last minute. So as far as an accurate number, I really don't have an answer because it's ever-changing. Every hour we're getting 3-4 teams registered. But when all's said and done, we hope to be around the 275 team mark.
And your play, the 30th and 31st, Saturday and Sunday, will be as it has been in recent years, all clustered in the vicinity of the Jamestown Savings Bank Arena.
That's correct. We're going to start, and I will mention that at 8 o'clock on Friday morning, the 29th, Jamestown Police Department will be closing the streets, and the streets are going to be 3rd Street from Monroe to Washington, and then on 2nd Street from Jefferson to Washington. And on Lafayette between 2nd and 3rd. So just be real cautious and be aware that you might have a slight detour, might have to take another route if you plan on traveling on 3rd Street or 2nd Street, anywhere from May 29th until the 31st.
Street Jam basketball is played in brackets, so that's why you need the valuable information about people's age and height so you can put teams together in the right little leagues, if you will, or brackets. But talk to me a little bit more about how the tournament plays out, if there are any changes this year in terms of how many games people will play and how they will accede to the championship of their particular bracket or division.
Well, every team is guaranteed 3 games. And if you happen to lose the first 2 games, you will go into what we call the Golden Brick bracket, which is kind of the best of the losers bracket. And you get an award for that. But again, Dennis, everybody is guaranteed 3 games, and you could be done Saturday, or you could, it might take you all weekend to get eliminated. But it's going to be quite interesting to see who's going to reign as champs on each of the courts.
And the looking from the perspective of the people who are playing, how long is a game? How is it set up to play when it actually happens on the street, Vicki?
Well, it's a timed game, and the first 1 to 21 wins. And that can be shortened up based on the weather, if there's time constraints or whatever. But usually it's dictated by the weather. But the games usually don't go 30 minutes because somebody always wins and gets to that number.
It moves pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And when you have, you said 275 teams.
Mm-hmm.
So approximately how many courts would be active at any one moment at the height of Street Jam? How many simultaneous games happening in that neighborhood of downtown Jamestown?
Probably 22 to 25.
So you think about that, and that's part of what creates the
Mm-hmm.
energy of this tournament, is to be able to walk as a visitor, as I have done many times over the years, from one to another, and see all of this agility, all of this physical activity concentrated in such a small area, and it gets intense.
Oh, it's very intense. You got the music cranking, and you have the kids calling plays, and the fans are screaming and cheering everybody on, and it's really quite a vibe. And there's no other place to be than downtown Jamestown on Street Jam weekend.
Will there be a center court again this year?
Yes, there will. We have a men's court and a women's court, and that's kind of our hub of activity, and we have the soundstage located there. So if anybody has questions or anything, they certainly can come and find me to get further direction or assistance. But the main action has always been, since day one, the top men's court, which, again, we have our defending champs going to be playing on that court, as well as a lot of teams that want to take that title away. So we're going to see how that all plays out. And some of the local folks that play on that top men's court, Maceo, Wolford, and Steve Breath, and a few of those fellas, and Zach Penabianco and that crew from the Jamestown Red Raider team. So we're going to see a lot of action on that court.
What is the age range of players and teams as you organize Street Jam each year? What are the youngest players who actually participate in the tournament?
Well, 2 years ago, we saw a need to add in the 8 and under category, and that court is the funnest to watch, bar none. But they're 8 and under, and then we moved to 9 and 10-year-olds. They can play together. They have their own court, and then so forth and so on, 11 and 12, 13, 14, and so forth. So to answer your question, the youngest player last year, I believe, was age 6. And they just were all decked out. They had goggles, and they had new shoes, and they had basketball jerseys, and it was just precious to watch.
What's the other end of that range? What's the oldest player or player's team that regularly comes to play Street Jam basketball?
I think last year our oldest player was age 72. Did he play a lot? I'm not quite sure, but he had a ball, and he was playing actually with, I believe, his nephew and his son. So he was playing on a lower age bracket, but I think he was there for just to have a good time and get in the game when he could.
That aside, you get some like retirement age men and women who want to play the team?
Oh, yeah. If we get enough, we put them on their own court. I think our oldest bracket was 40 and above.
So that gives the listeners a general idea of what they can come and see. For those who want to not play but just come and watch and catch some of the exciting basketball action, is there a time that you would recommend that they come, or any time during the day, Saturday or Sunday, they're going to see something?
On Saturday, it's the first round, and everybody's all hyped up. But Sunday is when it gets serious. That's Championship Sunday, and that's very intense, and you see a lot of competitive basketball. And I can't answer a time, but a lot of excitement centers around our Street Slam competition, which is the slam dunk contest.
When is that?
And that's at 6 o'clock on Saturday. That always brings in a big crowd. And just prior to that is the final of the Wee Jam, which is the slam dunk competition for the little kids. So if you come down like 4 in the afternoon, you're going to have a lot to look at.
Any other special events? You mentioned a few basketball-related things there. Are there any other highlights across this 2-day period, Saturday the 30th of May, Sunday the 31st, that you would draw people's attention to in terms of things happening at a particular time?
Well, just the Wee Jam and then the Street Slam, which is a slam dunk contest. And other than that, there really is just a lot of basketball being played.
Let's talk about some of the other things that happen in the environment of Street Jam then, because you do have music, you do have food, you do have a lot of participation from the consumers at the Resource Center, committees, individuals in the community. So let's fill out the rest of that picture, Vicki Barda.
I want to address also the volunteers.
Sure.
We have probably 200 volunteers that are going to be helping us out over the weekend. If there's basketball officials and scorekeepers and people cooking food and helping register people, and just a lot of behind-the-scenes activities going on as well.
From whence do those volunteers come?
Well, quite a few of them actually come via the Resource Center employees. We have community folks who always like to become involved. We also have an opportunity for students if they need hours to graduate. We get a lot of volunteers that way, and they really appreciate having fulfilled their hours to graduate and having a great time, and also supporting such a wonderful cause, which we can't forget. We're raising money for the Resource Center and TRC Foundation. So that's quite a great thing.
Well, and what a fun way to get credit for community service. You mentioned TRC Foundation, so I'll go there with you for a moment, Vicki. The proceeds from the registrations and other fundraising aspects of Street Jam fund what? How do you use this money to benefit the Resource Center?
Well, a lot of the programs and services that are offered are underfunded or non-funded. And through the efforts of the basketball tournament and the funds raised, we're able to support some of those operations.
The food. Talk to me for a minute about availability of food and other things that people might like to get when they get there, whether they're playing or watching. Beverages certainly as well. They're going to want to have plenty of water if it's a hot, which I hope it is, pleasantly warm, sunny weekend without a cloud in the sky, or if they are, they're just decoration. I know you haven't had that often over 19 years.
That's
but
right.
That's what I'm hoping for you this year.
That's right. Food vendors, so far we have quite a few. We have Mojo Tacos, and we have curly fries and burgers and hot dogs and candy, and we have, you name it. We have barbecued chicken, ribs, and greens. We also have ice cream and pizza, rounding out the field. And we do everything food court style, so everyone can kind of have their pick of what they'd like to eat. And food court is going to be located on Lafayette Street.
I know from past years when we have done this preview story and actually being at Street Jam that you have a great deal of community cooperation in terms of supporters, sponsors. If you want to talk about those people, those individuals, and those businesses, groups, nonprofits that help you make this possible, I want to give you time to do that, Vicki Barda.
Without their support, we would be not able to host this tournament. And a lot of folks, of course, the monetary sponsors are very, very important. But also there's businesses that can't give you money, and they certainly are happy to step up and give you services or supplies, which are very, very needed to pull off an operation such as Street Jam. But if you don't mind, I'm going to just read the list of our sponsors.
I encourage you to do so.
Okay. And it's pretty lengthy, and it's ever-changing. Again, I haven't checked my email again today, but
up to the minute, as close as we can get.
This is as close as we can get it. Okay, here we go. It's the Resource Center, Filling the Gap, Jamestown Community College, the Lynn Funeral Home, Brown & Brown Insurance, Philadelphia Insurance Company, Greater Woodlawn Federal Credit Union, Quick Fill, Courier Capital, Wegmans, Phillips Lytle, Support Enterprises, Southside Pharmacy, Bruce and Judy Battler, Chautauqua Region Community Foundation, Northwest Savings Bank, Cricket Wireless, All-Star EMS, Axiom, Quick Solutions, Mazzani Contract Interiors, Sandy's Bakery, U.S. Army National Guard, Jamestown Cycle Shop, TACMAC McDonald's, Saxton Cochran Associates, and Esquire Cleaners. Those are all the folks that are giving us money, and just a shout out to the folks who provide other services for us. The Ice Arena, Jamestown Awning, Gateway Train Station, Willow Bay, Steve Trapani and Devin Payne, our DJs for the weekend. Jane Young, who's going to be taking photos for us. Hector's giving us some cool looking, they call them Big Red. I really don't know what they are. Kind of like four-wheelers.
Four-wheelers, sure.
And we have Z&M Ag and Turf giving us some gators. The Scouts are going to kick us off with the opening ceremonies, the Jamestown Gazette, and Eagle Radio. So that is quite a lengthy list of sponsors.
Well, and you can't hear all of the sponsors and supporters and not understand all of the broad, deep community support that you have generated for this tournament over 19 years. So kudos to you, Vicky Bardo, and to the other members of the organizing committee for having reached so many people with the message of the value, the fun of Street Jam basketball.
Well, thank you, Dennis.
How many people are on the committee that organize this event every year?
Well, this year we have 18.
And some of them have been with you from the beginning?
They have. And it's really kind of fun because we always joke around. Boy, when we started this, we were like in our 20s or we were in our 30s. And now fast forward 19 years and we have some of the the children of our committee folks are now taking a bigger role. So we just kind of chuckle about that. But all in all, it's a great group. And I would say 80% have been with us since day one.
So they, too, share the enthusiasm that you have for this basketball tournament.
I don't know about that. I think it starts out that way. But no, all in all, I think everybody has a specific duty and an area that they like to dedicate their time and efforts to, and we work together and can kind of count on each other, and we depend on each other, and we know that at the end of the day, we're all doing the same wonderful tournament, and we all work together and make it happen.
Any items for sale at Street Jam this year?
We're going to have T-shirts and some basketballs, that kind of thing for sale, and that will be indoors, the arena.
Something appropriate mementos of the occasion for people to take back with them, particularly if they're not taking a trophy or an award with them.
That's right. And we do, and I want to point this out too, each court has first, second, third, a good sport, and a Golden Brick Award. So there's 5 potential trophies for every court. So there's a lot of trophies, a lot of hardware going out that day.
What kind of hardware do you give away to the winner?
Years ago, we decided that you might have a trophy in your trophy case and not know necessarily who you played with or anything about it. So what we created was our trophy that looks like a plaque. And on the plaque is a mini poster depicting the year of the tournament. And also we take a picture of the team. So you not only have a commemorative poster, but you also have a picture of your team holding your trophy so you know who you played with. And then it also says first, second, third, good sport, or golden brick on it. So I thought that was kind of a cool way to have a trophy.
It puts a lot of pressure on your photographer, though, to get all of those pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Taken.
Yep. And Jane Young is up to the task.
We know Jane well.
Yeah.
I can't think of a resource center event, pardon me for this aside, here at Dunham or elsewhere where Jane has not been there taking pictures. So good for her.
Mm-hmm.
This is Share the Vision. We speak to you from the Resource Center's administrative offices on Dunham Avenue. We are with Vicky Bardo, and she is the Street Jam Director for the 19th Annual Street Basketball Tournament in Jamestown, coming May 30th and May 31st. If you're just tuning in, you will know that Street Jam is happening a week earlier than it often does, and the registration deadline is looming. So just to pick up those listeners who may not have been with us at the beginning, Vicki, I want to go back to that essential bit of information again. You really need all of these registrations in by the 10th.
That's right. After the 10th, then we start building the brackets, and then we kind of go from there. But, again, it's jamestownstreetjam.net. My phone number is 716-661-147, just if you have an additional question or something you'd like to chat about.
1477.
Correct.
Okay, make sure we get all of the sevens out there. And medical care is available. We probably should put that in there, too, if somebody skins a knee or something like that.
Yeah,
you have people
we
there.
have a complete medical unit, and that's operated by Ron Hassan and his trusty team of EMT and EMT students, and they've done it since day one as well. So if you need an aspirin, or if you need a Band-Aid, hop on over to the MASH tent, and they'll help you out.
Well, I hope that very few people need anything like that this year, but it's good that you provide that backup service as well. Vicki Bart, is there any other aspect of the Street Jam tournament that we haven't talked about in terms of its relationship to the Resource Center or filling the gap or the community or the actual organization of the tournament? I just want to make sure we leave no stone unturned before we end this discussion.
I just want to point out that if maybe you don't know anyone playing in the tournament, but come down anyway. There's really a lot of good going on in the community. The community comes together, and this is a family festival. We see everybody from grandmas and grandpas and folks with baby strollers, and it's just so nice to see families getting out there, supporting one another, cheering on their team, and grabbing something to eat, something to drink, and going around and watching all of the action on all of the different courts. And you'd be surprised how many people do come down and enjoy themselves and use this opportunity to bump into old friends and make new ones.
I'm far away from being a young person, but I do so enjoy, as you continue to talk, I see pictures in my mind of experiences that I've had at Street Jam over the years, to watch some very energetic and athletically skilled people play this game. And they do so in an environment that it's not like even going to the NBA or a college game, because the athleticism, the skill is right in front of you. As a viewer, as a spectator, you are 20, 30 feet away from watching all of this, and it even as just a viewer, has a tendency to draw you into the game in a way that watching basketball on television could never do.
Well, on basketball, everybody's so focused on winning and that kind of thing. Street Jam is more focused on, yes, it's a competitive environment. However, you get to play with your friends. You get to play with your, maybe your cousin lives down south and they come up and they play. And it's more of, I don't know, it's just a different vibe. It's not the cutthroat as you're going to see on TV or anything like that. It's just good old-fashioned fun. It's street basketball at its best. And come on down and check us out.
Website one more time for information and registration.
JamestownStreetJam.net.
Steve Watterson has been listening to this entire conversation for the last 24 minutes. I want to draw you back in for some of your perceptions on what Vicki has said, some of your memories of Street Jam tournaments, because I know you've been down there and watched this and been a part of making it happen as well, Steve.
Oh, well, it really is a fun, magical may be too much, but something about coming down to that section of downtown Jamestown, the weekend of Street Jam, and it's like its own little world down there. It's really just a great thing. You have parents and grandparents. They'll come. They'll bring their chairs, their pop-up tent, and once you start playing, your team is playing on that same court all weekend. So parents they've got their kids' schedule. They know what time their games are.
The signs.
They'll put their tent up or their pop-up up and their chairs, and they're just going to stay there all day long unless they need to wander up and use a restroom or something. But they get to chat with their friends. So it really is it's a nice social event. People have a lot of fun. And, we really, Vicki's too modest to say so, but ton of work on her part to have to get this thing together in the months literally leading up to it. There's so much that has to be done. And she is, you said, she's the queen of Street Jam. She makes sure that everything is covered and the event runs just so smoothly every year. If she just had the power over the weather, we'd be in perfect shape. But no, it's just a fantastic event we do every year.
Well, and this is very valuable to the TRC. In approximate numbers, how much money have you generated for the foundation over these years?
Well, I think we are at the $250,000 level, I think would be a safe thing to say. But I think the biggest thing that we do in terms of the basketball tournament is bringing awareness to the need for support and acceptance for all of our folks in our community living with disabilities every day. And anything we can do for them and their families to make their dreams come true, that's what we do.
The comparison is not lost on me when you say that. in terms of, I spoke about the athletic ability and the extraordinary skill, the grace that you can see among the players there, and they are doing this to help raise money for people who may have extraordinary struggles just in doing some of the ordinary motions, walking, sitting, eating, some of the things that we would take for granted.
Mm-hmm. One of the other highlights, too, is, and hopefully they're going to be around, is the Special Olympian exhibition basketball game. And that takes place right before our Street Slam. And a lot of folks come and watch that, and they say, we have no idea how much love and inspiration and just effort goes into that game, because they're out there, they're in front of the crowd, they're playing on that sport court, and everyone's loving it, and the crowd is just going crazy and cheering them on, and that really chokes up a lot of people in the crowd.
Website one more time to register for Street Jam.
JamestownStreetJam.net.
Do it today, because it needs to be in tomorrow. The tournament is the 30th and 31st. A minute left for anything else we need to do for the Resource Center. Any announcements you'd like to make, Mr. Watterson?
Yeah, the only thing, Dennis, really is that we're putting a little bit of an emphasis on membership right now. You know, the Resource Center is a membership organization, and it just means that you can pay your dues and indicate your support for the work that the Resource Center and TRC Foundation do on behalf of individuals with disabilities and their families. Membership dues are $10 annually. What we give as a thank you for your membership is a membership card that gives you discounts at area businesses that you can use over and over again. It's not just a one-shot deal. So, for instance, if you pay your $10 membership card and you get a new set of tires at Dunn Tire, you go to Applebee's a couple times a year, you've already paid for your membership. So it is a very valuable thing. And with all of the changes that are taking place right now on the state level and the way services are being delivered to people with disabilities and their families need a voice advocating for them. And the more members that the Resource Center has, the louder our voice comes when we're speaking with elected officials to try to maintain services for the folks that we support. So interested in becoming a member, give the Resource Center a call, 483-2344. You also can go to our website, which is resourcecenter.org, and find out all the information on becoming a member.
Well, to Steve Watterson and to Vicki Bardo, thank you both for sharing the vision today.